can speak a few languages and know a bunch of shit about all sorts of things, including some interesting topics, and you're now at a party, and you walked in on your own, and you start talking to some pretty girl who's surrounded by another 3 or 4 guys all trying their luck, and she walks away with you instead of them, you might get slightly upset. I know that firsthand because I've done that sort of thing a few times. So, yeah. Tough luck, normies, is kind of what I'd say on my way out with the girl. And Michael Pecker continues, but seriously, people don't like the seeds of the thread, and they don't mind high IQ if they integrate well with the group. Yeah, if you're, I came to this unfortunate conclusion quite a few years ago that if my communication with somebody is not going well, and I am a lot smarter than them, then the fault probably really lies with me, because, well, if I'm that smart, why am I not able to reach down to their level and communicate in a way that makes sense to them? I have struggled with that all my life, and I only became aware of the IQ gap in my 40s, so I have tried to make allowances since then. I think most people think I'm a relatively pleasant person when they meet me in person, until they open their mouth and say some absurdly stupid shit that I can't fathom, and then I suddenly become very extremist from their perspective. But really, nothing's changed except that I've just expressed my belief system, while before I was just letting them assume some whole thing to a certain extent. I do believe that, there were, like in any war, there were certainly atrocities committed by everybody, all sorts of people. But one thing that I found very interesting that somebody mentioned is that, do you notice that when they show you speeches of Hitler, they never translate what he's saying? It's just a shouty German guy. And I do remember I've only seen 2 translated speeches of Hitler. And one I saw many years ago where he was talking to his equivalent of parliament or whatever it was, and he read out a letter which I think was from the American president, and then he took that letter apart and responded to it as he was reading it. Clearly, I don't think it was scripted. I think it was off the cuff. And I mean, at one point, the whole of the German parliaments just laughed at the idiocy of the American. I certainly always just assumed that the Nazis were completely always the bad guys, no matter what. But I found myself thinking, well, this American guy is really stupid, in what he was saying in the letter. And I don't remember the details, but it was something like, we're gonna beat you down and surround you, and you have to just take all the stuff on, and you're not allowed, and you shouldn't invade any country, including a list of countries. And the way that Hitler read it back, the part I remember, it was saying, oh yeah, and he says, we shouldn't invade this country, and that country, and that country. And everybody just burst out laughing, because it was what the hell, dude? You're putting guns to our heads and telling us what to do. We're going to do what we want. That was kind of the attitude. And I'm now curious about what it would be like to listen to Hitler's speeches, with the translation. I don't speak German.
Get to my question, Kurgan.
Some kind of a genetic rejection of the language, as I do with Afrikaans and mostly Dutch.
Oh my God.
It's just one of those languages that I don't like the way it sounds, so I refuse to try and learn it. But I think it would be very interesting to see those speeches with a good translation on it now.
Okay, enough Hitler. Let's get to the real questions.
Why Germany did what it did and why it went the way it went. And of course, the things that Hitler is saying in those speeches, those few that I've managed to get some translation for, are certainly considered very anti-Semitic, I'm sure, and yet I'm not sure that anybody has found, factual.
Oh my God, Kurgan, you're going to be popped off YouTube.
Necessarily the economics.
Stop it,
or
Kurgan.
what he was saying or stuff like that. It's a very interesting topic. I've also come across a website that I think is called I can't remember, something like
what started this question about Hitler and how wonderful he is?
Something like that. But anyway, it's a bunch of academics.
Thoughts on Nazi Germany right here at 5:30.
Figure out what really happened.
Blah blah blah.
What the numbers in the
oh man, he's off on 10 minutes on this question now.
And so on. There's a lot of stuff about.
All right, let's see. How many typewriters should one have?
I think it was probably best encompassed by the comedian who died recently.
Now we're going off some tangent.
Norm
Macdonald.
Something.
Norm Macdonald.
There's a sketch of him.
Unsophisticated rude.
Saying, well, it says it right here in this book that luckily all wars were always won by the good guys. What are the chances of that, eh? And you read the books. That's it. The good guys won, right?
Oh, God.
Michael P. says, doing many things well is better than being the best at one thing. My disposition is being generally better than most people. But most things, if I try,
where are these chats?
I can't be the best or top at it. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
Oh, he's still on this one, for fuck's sake. So we are now...
Of
5:30 to 5:31. Oh my God!
On a few things.
But
my overall best skill is to be a synergist, to be able to quickly evaluate a situation, and make decisions on the fly. I think tactically I'm very good.
Naked combat. You got to be quick.
Whether it's in
system
business or whatever. So we'll see. That doesn't mean I make wise choices. It means that despite my often reckless choices.
Oh my God! I'm gonna go get some water.
That's good to have. If you're curious and you're not afraid, that's a bad combination. You better have good reflexes and a smart brain. So, Jordan, I've been banned from everywhere for no reason. We've heard that one before. Now, I'm not sure if he's referring to a certain group of people, or if he's referring
so we are
to
now at 5:32. We are slowly making our way to the real question everybody wants to know.
Michael P. I used to be socially...
All right, we're up next.
I pick up artists on YouTube years back and learn the general concepts. Now I'm pretty social.
Here we go, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, well, pick up artists. Good God.
What?
Deliver us. XD says, I think America would have joined up with Germany if it wasn't for the killing of the Jews to fight communism. What? If it wasn't for the killing of the Jews to fight communism?
Where the fuck is this coming from?
America's always been anti-communism, so I'm not sure what you're saying there. I don't know that I understand your comment. Anton of Guerrero says, how many typewriters should one have? Well, I've got 3 that you can see, but I had, I think, at least 5. And quite frankly, typewriter I'd really like to get is, see the one in the box, in the wooden box there? That typewriter is the second iteration of the typewriter I'd really like to have. That thing was expensive. It was like over $300. And that was a few years ago. But it's a typewriter that your keys will never get jammed because it's got a roller wheel. I'm going to show it to you because it's such a cool thing. You need to see that.
Well, thank you, Kurgan.
So,
I made him lift the typewriter, everybody. Look at that.
The roller wheel is in here, and I'm not going to bother taking it all out and putting it on. The roller wheel goes here, and when you press one of these keys, see, there's the roller wheel thing. When you press one of these keys, that goes to hit the paper. And the wheel spins so that the letter that you've typed hits the paper. And that's how this thing works. This is not the one I want because you'll see that this is a QWERTY keyboard. And the QWERTY keyboard was invented to slow you down. The reason for that is, of course, because if you type really fast on a QWERTY keyboard, this happens. And your keys all jam. So, the QWERTY keyboard was designed to make it as difficult as possible for you to type fast.
A Dvorak keyboard? I think I heard of those.
So, why does that wheeled typewriter have a QWERTY keyboard? This is the idiocy of humanity. Because the other typewriters, although inferior, were taking over the world by storm, and the QWERTY keyboard had come in, so the guy who did this time...
No! No!
These ones are selling more because everybody's using the QWERTY keyboard, so I'll put a QWERTY keyboard on golf. This is the same reason why we don't have Zeppelins with aircrafts on it. Zeppelins attached, with aircrafts attached, aircraft carriers in the sky. They existed. They had this. Do you know about that? Yeah? Same thing like the typewriter. So the original of that had a keyboard that was good and quick for you to type on. And if I can find...
You've got to be kidding me. Oh, the Kurgan. I hope this is better in post-production.
One of those, and I ever get really, well off again, which, I'm not right. The cool typewriter, that's what's happening here, obviously. So that's a really cool...
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, people.
Typewriter. So to answer the question, how many typewriters should a man have? As many as he can afford. In fact, we should all go back to writing on typewriters, and that's still something I want to do. I want to write a book on a typewriter and then use my phone to character read and put it onto the computer so that I can, do the other stuff that needs doing for you to publish the book. Because it will force you to think more when you have to correct every mistake that you make. Michael P., concepts are better than specifics if you're trying to learn to interact with people.
All right, well, thank you very much, the Kurgan. I think this could be like a new game. Every time Kurgan has a live stream, ask a question and see how long he goes off on it, right? I think we got, 3-4 minutes out of the typewriter question, and we got it answered, as many as one can afford. So that's very good. Anyways, that's it.